Herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge des eCommerce Tech Podcasts. In unserem eCommerce Tech Forum im Februar hatten wir ein sehr interessantes Panel und das haben wir aufgenommen und veröffentlichen es heute als neue Folge dieses Podcasts. Und wir finden das super spannend, was wir dort besprochen haben, beziehungsweise im speziellen Hooman von Fastly, Philipp von Porta Möbel und Ben von Qualipet. Sie waren unsere Gäste und ich möchte euch nochmal mitgeben, bevor ihr diese Folge anschaut oder anhört, schaut euch einmal die Keynote an, die ich gegeben habe. Ihr findet sie in der Beschreibung hier für den Podcast und auf YouTube, weil es nämlich genau darum geht. Alles muss sich ändern. Ich wünsche euch viel Spaß beim Zuschauen und Zuhören.
Hello everyone. So nice to have you all here at FUBA. Thank you so much to the panelists for taking the chance to share your opportunities on certainty and uncertainty. I'm super excited and I would love maybe for all of you to give a quick introduction round about yourselves so we know who you are and especially your role and your industry.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for switching to English. My German ends with ordering a beer and saying, I'm sorry, so Entschuldigung, sorry that you have to do this. My name is Hooman. I'm from a company called Fastly. We're an edge cloud provider, probably what you would know as a CDN. But we sort of gave up on this name, on this brand, CDN, a long time ago. And edge cloud, as far as we're concerned, is a platform that offers not only delivery services, but also security, compute, and anything that focuses on latency, optimizing latency for end users, hence the edge moniker that sits on edge cloud. I've been with the company for 11 years now. Fastly is about 13 years old. And it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you.
Hi, it's always tough to go after a native speaker. You're welcome. So my name is Philipp Hofschild. I'm 41. I work for Porta. Porta is a furniture reseller, mainly out of the north of Germany. But we obviously do e-com, which is then without borders. And I'm there for 2.5, 3 years now. And I mainly worked on the whole e-com and marketing technologies in the house, but lately, for the last 2 months now, I have responsibility for the whole e-com of the Porta Group, and that's why I'm here, I guess.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, hi everybody, I'm Ben. I'm from Switzerland, so grüezi miteinander. Sorry for that. I am head of e-commerce for Qualipet. We are a pet retail store in Switzerland. Qualipet exists for over 35 years now. We are a very old school and classic company, so we have ownership of father and son, so the founder and the son as CEO. I've been in retail business for more than 13 years. I had experienced a big group called Migros with different kind of brands like in sporting goods, electronics, DIY, furniture as well. I kind of know retail, and but I'm the freshman in the group because I started for Qualipet like 4 weeks ago. So beginning of the year, I took over this role and this challenge of bringing Qualipet into the new path. Which one of those, we don't know yet, but we are on a new path.
You're making it very easy for me to start my first topic. So thank you so much, Matthias, for your inspirational talk, especially about these the choices one has to face in order to make your business a success. And I believe when I look at your industries, it's pet care, it's furniture, and web security as a broadest. There's many shifts happening, especially now with new technologies and new AI. Maybe just as a beginning question, so we can go by order in the beginning, and then maybe I pick one or two from you for special questions. But what kind of signals do you see in your industries that it's time to change? Maybe Hooman, do you want to go first?
I think my perspective is going to be a little bit different than the e-commerce folks in the room. If the question is about trends that I see in my industry, it's an interesting time to be in the CDN and edge cloud world. Because what's happening is actually there's vendors falling and going away. So the number of vendors that are viable providers of this type of service is actually being reduced. Number of vendors in the last 3 years, sorry, even less, 2 years, 2 or 3 very prominent vendors have gone away. And this is probably because of a number of different reasons. One of them being the fact that customers, which are obviously the most important thing when it comes to industries like ours, all industries, I'm sure, are looking for single vendors to provide a number of different solutions. And in our world, that's solutions that are at the perimeter of the network, the edge of the network, hence edge cloud, and bringing low latency performant features to a customer. So what used to be just an industry where it was content delivery has now morphed into an industry that provides compute resources, compute platforms, security services. All these things are sort of in one place, and the cost consciousness of the customers has sort of driven to this. I don't want to call it consolidation because this is a term that gets used a lot, but it's concentrated. I think what customers are asking for towards a very small number of vendors.
So if I understand,
that's a trend, I think.
Yes, it's definitely a trend. So if I understand this correctly, it would mean that the customer expectations change rapidly, and the vendor who manages to changes or adapts the fastest to these are the ones who survive.
Yeah, the challenge is, and this can get into a very long discussion, so I'm going to keep it short.
We'll do this later in the networking.
Yeah, we can talk about this more. The challenge is you can't just say, as a vendor like us, you can't just say, yes, I do A, B, and C.
Yes.
You have to bring these features to the market with expertise, and they have to be good features that provide what the customers are actually looking for. It's very easy to be good storytellers and just wave your hand around some features, and it's a completely different thing to actually bring usable, functional features and functionalities to customers. So you have to constantly listen to what customers want and put that together into your product line.
I love that. Customer centricity is something that I believe goes beyond industries, and maybe this is something where Philipp might catch the ball to maybe give an insight into how customer expectations maybe change in your industry and how you are managing this uncertainty of what does the customer want tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. So maybe I start a little bit about our industry, and I think it works a little bit different than other e-com industries, as we in our business, we also have a really strong presence still in like in the real world, I would say. So obviously you've all been to furniture stores, you all shopped online for everything around your home, but mainly the main business that we do is the big things, is the beds, is the kitchens, is the sofas. And these are things that people usually don't buy yearly or monthly, so the decision to buy those takes a long time. And we're seeing a shift in how this new generation now is coming in, where ownership is not as important anymore as it maybe was for the generations that are now in their 60s or 50s. So this is something that we will have to really address, because even though we make the money with the big furniture, maybe it's not important anymore for the generation coming to actually own these things. So is there a business model where we can still supply this maybe without selling it? So this might be an idea for the future.
That sounds like a very new approach to furniture. So if I think about the image that Matthias showed earlier, you are really at this crossroad of selling or leasing furniture. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's not something that we're pursuing right now, but this is definitely a trend across a lot of industries. So why not? Why shouldn't it apply to us?
Absolutely. Maybe this is something where Ben can share his experience, especially from your old experience, but especially when I look at pet care. I've noticed in the last year that pet technology is a huge thing. So maybe this is something where you want to share your experiences and maybe your lookout for the future.
Well, our market is like everybody sells pet food, right? So we have a lot of players in there, from pure players to wholesalers, and this makes it very difficult to bring it to the table, right? So the specialist in our market has a tough time. But what we see is we have two customers. So actually, the owner from the dog who comes in the store or buys online, and the dog itself. So, and that's something that we are getting more and more aware of, that the pets are actually our actual customers, and we have to see in their lifespan how many touch points we can have with them, and where we can support the pet owners by providing them additional services, by making them their food more accessible, by delivering them in a easier way, so giving them the convenience they need in their everyday life in order to get what they need for their pets. And technology is exactly a very good subject that I've been missing since I'm there, because I come from retail with electronics. I used to work from electronics, TVs, consoles, PCs. That's like also my kind of hobby for myself. So when I came into Qualipet, I was looking for those GPS trackers. I was looking for those necklaces with lights and sensors and everything. And there is a market, but unfortunately, it's just Temu and AliExpress who brings up these kind of technologies right now. But it's a part that we are starting to look into it and to find like new tools or like new devices which give the pet owners like more security or a better overview where their cat is hanging around, actually.
Exactly. That's so interesting, especially to differentiate between the buyer and the real customer, because you have to make sure that you know your end consumers. So that's super interesting. And I loved what you said about the expectations that you had of a certain kind of technology or a certain kind of level that is already presented. I think we all know this internal. There are many ways to challenges as an example for technology or internal pushback or large committees who make it very hard to change. And I would love to maybe focus on the e-commerce guys for this one question, if that's okay, Hooman, to maybe give an overview. What is the biggest obstacle for change in your companies, in your industries, and maybe you can give a quick best practice on how you overcame this and made sure that there can be a decision and a way forward for change. Philipp, I think if you want to go first, that would be amazing.
I can go first, yeah. So Porta is also a very traditional company, just like yours, and it was just until now also owned by two families that in the second generation that founded the company. So the business model was basically always the same. It wasn't changing. It wasn't really erupted by any bigger change. And now we're facing a situation where this is not the case anymore. And especially on the technology side, you always have the problem, if you want to change something, it's usually very expensive. So the culture was very focused on sales numbers usually. So it's tough to get money for a project where you can't show that it will make the bottom line change immediately. So making smaller steps and showing in like a small experiment or like a POC that you can have a leverage with just minimal changes, I think it was the way to break this thinking, and that's a cultural thing, and it will take time, but you will have to show by example, basically.
So taking baby steps to the big picture. Maybe Ben, do you want to share something also?
Well, in our case, it's pretty simple. I guess you guys in Germany know also Galaxus. It's a Swiss company that came over here and tries to interrupt the market.
It's very successful by doing so.
Yes, I know. So, but what they do very well is basically, like the online shop experience you have in that marketplace is amazing, right? So whatever you're looking for, if it's support, if it's the access to the products, reservation, returns, whatever it is, they kind of did it well. And what I'm trying right now is kind of like a teachery role that I have in the company, is like to see that customers have been shopping at Galaxus, and they know how neat it is, how cool it is to buy stuff there, and how to interact with the shopping platform. And they also buy at our place, but the experience is like kind of way different than we have at this place. So, and I'm trying to make them understand right now that we have to get closer to that experience that this marketplace has provided, because the customer had the experience. So whenever you have driven a nice sports car, you jump back to your Golf or whatever. I don't want to mess up the Golf vlogs, right?
Careful now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But you know, like, so if you once drove in a car that was quick, and then you go back to your car that is not that quick, you kind of, you want to go back to that, to that speed. So, and that's the awareness I'm trying to create right now, that we have to go there where everybody else already is, kind of.
Yes, thank you so much. And now to you, Hooman, because I really liked your first answer about how vendors have not managed to meet customer expectations. And now I really want to understand why is Fastly still there? So you focused on the customer experience, but can you maybe take me through your decision processes and your awareness of disruption and change and the necessity for it?
It's a very specific question.
Yes.
So let me frame it like this. So the name of the company is Fastly.
Yes.
And fast is part of our DNA.
Yeah.
And there is a through the years, I joined the company when we were 70 people, we're now 1,200 people. Through the years, there is an inertia within the company that has always wanted us to go fast. Not only in the way we bring products to the market, but the services that we provide. Everything needs to be fast. Something interesting happens when you realize that a significant portion of the internet is going through your servers.
Yes.
There is a sense of responsibility that falls on you that forces you to slow down a little bit. That slow down doesn't necessarily mean you don't bring fast products to the market, that you don't bring products to the market quickly or fastly. It just means you have to be more thoughtful when you create these products. So like there's always this balance. How quickly do we bring features and products and services to our customers by listening to what they're doing, while we maintain the stability, the resilience, the responsibility that we have by carrying this much of the internet's traffic. This is a balance that is always something that we look at every day as we go through. And as we grow, the way the two sides of the scale keep shifting.
Yes.
The tenants, if you will, how they sort of balance themselves. But this is something we have to constantly balance and constantly have to take into account as we listen to our customers and we bring services to them. Does that answer your question, generally?
It answers it very well, and I really liked, I think, if I heard this correctly, it has this cultural approach also. So it's not only about being able to write great code and to provide a great product, but it's also the way you approach, you see the world, which makes it, you able to.
We have to do this.
Yes.
And one of our core tenets has always been to be as transparent with our customers as possible. So we try to bring them along on this journey, and we let them see the decisions we make, the priority sort of sets that we have, and we have them help us along the way. That always actually helps long-term with partnerships and creating more like stronger relationships with our customers.
It seems so obvious when you say this. Yeah, you have to look for the customers, you have to be fast, you have to be customer-centric, but many companies, they don't manage to get this culture.
It's easy to lose the focus.
It's easy to lose the focus, and I think when you lose speed, that's the first brick that falls, and many times. But that's super interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. Maybe if I'm now a little bit looking 5 years ahead, now again to the e-commerce guys, and we look to your topic later. What is the thing that the two roads, would you be able to describe them or to give them a title where you say, okay, you have this one road which is like classic basics, and the other road is AI and unicorns and crazy. So what kind of changes do you see for the next 5 years in your industry, or maybe even e-commerce as general? Philipp and Ben, whoever wants can go first.
Oh, okay. So I'll try to bring up something. So for me is I think the cultural switch within my company is right now the biggest challenge and also the biggest driver we have, because if the older generation kind of gets where I want to head with Qualipet, I think that's going to give a big switch. But I also see more convenience for our customers. So like we have Netflix abos, you can have pet food abos and other kind of abos. Like just make accessible the product more accessible and easier to get in a recurring way. I think that's something we can really push more forward and make the customer give time to think about other things than to go buy food for their pets.
Exactly. Thank you.
I think if I look at, if I say there's two ways for us, I think the traditional way would probably to do what everybody else is doing, to look at marketplace, to do just technological improvements in the shop and make it maybe nicer and do like the 1800s customer survey where a button is maybe in the wrong place. And then try to become better that way. And I would say the other route would be to really look at, in our sense, to look at e-com versus what we're doing in the stores, and is there not a customer need that is not addressed at the moment in the market because nobody's really tying them together. So is it a necessity to have like a classical online shop in the future, or is it a different way to approach the touch points of a customer in this customer journey, which is maybe getting longer and longer because of the trends I said before and sustainability effects and things like that. So is the role of a digital device in this whole customer journey maybe a different one in the future, and not just to buy a couch?
Yes, when I think about your answer, a quote comes to my mind, and this is from Jeff Bezos, and I will never forget this. He said in this one event that he attended, he said, there's two things to look at. There's what will change and what will not change, and we focus a lot on what will change, but it's very easy to look at what will not change and focus on that as an example. He said, in 10 years from now, customers will always want to have cheap products. They always want to have good customer service. They always want to have a great variety of products. So let's just focus on that and be sure that the customer will be happy, instead of trying to jump on every bandwagon.
Yeah, and maybe to add on this, Matthias had the two examples of Kodak and Netflix, but there's a lot of Netflix ideas that just don't work. I mean, there was Coke, New Coke, Coke yes. Classic. Yes. That's an example where you didn't meet the customer needs by trying to be bold and do something else.
Exactly.
So you always, like I said, you have to always have in mind that it might not change if you it might not work if you change drastically.
Exactly. So maybe now it's a great time for you guys to tell the panel. So if you are standing now in front of the crossroads, which paths do you take? Do you go into the unknown, the scary, or do you follow the well-traveled path? Maybe you can share your perspective on how you do that decision making.
I can go. Definitely the innovative and the risky side. That's how Fastly was born. If we went back 12, 13 years and somebody said we're going to start disrupting the CDN space, everybody would say you're insane. But it's actually worked out quite well. But it comes with a caveat. I don't think it's just be risky. I don't think that's enough. There's two things you have to do. And again, this is with a lens towards the industry that I'm in. There's two things you have to do. There's thousands of things you have to do, but two that come to mind. Risk is one thing. Being risky with an open mind is a crucial part of this, to be able to always be open to learning. There is so much learning that comes with every step of the risk, and the adjustments are a very big deal of what you do. And I have to come back to listen to your customers. They will always be the North Pole. They will always be the guiding light to what kind of risks will make sense to take. what kind of lessons are learned, and the adjustments have to be very, very frequent as you go down this path. I think that's the only way that I'm a techie guy, so this is obviously a techie answer.
Yeah.
This is the only way that we can advance our world across all verticals, across all horizontals,
Also,
across everything. Yeah.
So you would go the risky path, but you would take the customer with you.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
It has to be, there is no, I don't know if anybody can succeed, generally speaking, by just being prescriptive.
Yes.
You have to be able to be receptive and listen to what your customers say and go along with them. Yeah, this is the only way, I think.
I love that. Thank you so much. So Philipp, from your personal perspective, two paths, how do you decide?
Yeah, so I'm German. So
What does that mean?
so there is an answer that is more comfortable for me, but obviously as a leader in business, and you have to go the risky way because that's where opportunity lies. Opportunity doesn't lie on the safe path. But I think as well as you need the customer to come along with you, I think you need to have your organization ready for that as well. And you can't lose people, and especially in times where it's maybe unclear, and times like this at the moment, where especially in my company right now, we're facing like a big merger, and people are a little bit scared of what's ahead. You can't jump ahead 3 steps. You need to take them with you step by step, and there's a lot of communication that goes hand in hand. So I think it's the risky route, but you have to do it with eyesight and not too fast in a certain position.
Not so German, the answer, but very, very cool. Thank you, Ben. Swiss answer now.
The Swiss answer. I don't give an answer. No, I think. So my decision to go with Qualipet was already a risky one because I have a new customer I haven't met before. That's the animals, the pets. So and therefore that's my challenge. I think I would like to add the commitment to those bold decisions and to that risky way, because if you do it with commitment, you're going to take anyway something out of it. Sometimes it's going to be success, sometimes it's going to be failure, but at the end you're going to take an experience out of it, and that's going to bring you further. Sometimes smaller steps, sometimes bigger steps, but I think the commitment gives that risky way the power you need to take the right decision whenever you need to take one.
I love that. I wrote down some last words for this panel, and I noticed I have a big underline. But now that I listen to you, I will change this. I will explain it to you now. I was writing down: the future won't wait for those for us to be ready. It belongs to those willing to move forward. And then, even if it's uncertain. But now that I was listening to you guys and listening into your answers, I would underline something else. I would underline willing to move forward. I think that is the key that I understood from you guys. It's to never stay still and to make sure that in whatever you do, you try, and you if it's certain or uncertain, it's okay to walk a path that is well traveled. It's okay to go something where nobody was before. People have failed and succeeded on both. So thank you so much for your time. Maybe to all of you, this will be uploaded as our e-commerce tech podcast, which I'm 100% sure all of you know. If not, I will go around later and take your phone and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, everything that you have. Please make sure to have all your apps opened and yourself signed in, and I will look at it later. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much to the panelists. I think we have something for you guys as a little thank you for the time that you have, the insights you provided. Super much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Danke sehr.